Welcome to What Are Those, a show that explores the art of sneaker culture. I'm your host, Adam Butler, back with another episode. Thank you so very much for being here. And like always, I got a dope show lined up for you guys this week, man. Listen, you know I like to talk to dope women in the game, man. I really appreciate women that are involved in sneaker culture, man. It's just something cool about that story. And I've got a super cool person with an extremely cool story today. My girl Jolissa Nicole is in the building. She is the host of Sneaker Hunting on Soul Collector, man. Big time. Look, we got big time guests on here now, man. She has a very interesting story, not just about, and I don't want to just like marginalize it, like it's not just about being a woman in the game, but it's also about how her love of sneakers, truly, honestly, y'all, how her love of sneakers just built a career for her and how she never quit. This is somebody I've been following for a while on Twitter. I'm so excited to have her on the show and have her tell her story because I've really admired it from afar. I mean, she may not believe me, but it's the truth, man. It's a super cool story, and I just love hearing about people that truly love sneakers, right, and truly have a passion for the culture getting wins, man. It just makes me happy. It warms my heart. So listen, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. We're going to jump right into it this week because she and I talked for a good little minute. Without further ado, the one and only Jolissa Nicole. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Listen, I've actually been following you on Twitter for a little while now. I think I found you in one of the sneaker spaces and just following people and people and then realizing like, oh, she's pretty dope. She's pretty cool. And then you posted something recently where you kind of talked about just your journey, where you started and where you are now. And it's so dope. We're going to get into all of that. I gave people a good intro to you before we, started. But I just want to talk about you and let's just go back to the beginning. Like, when did you fall in love with sneakers and sneaker culture?
I fell in love with sneakers, and it's funny saying it now because I realize how long it's been, but I fell in love with sneakers in 96 when the Taxi 12 dropped. Like, there's baby pictures of me and I can recall, I'm 29 now. I can recall back then wearing those shoes until they were too small, like as a little kid, and just not saying that they were too small, but for whatever reason, that was my favorite shoe. Like, I remember being at the store with my uncle, seeing it on the shelf and being like, I want that. That's the shoe that I want. And they bought it for me just as like, okay, because I was spoiled. I was the first daughter, the first granddaughter, the first great granddaughter. So, I got everything I wanted. Yeah. And I was like 5, 6 or something like that. So it was nothing for them to be like, okay, yeah, you can have it. And then they taught me who Jordan was. They taught me about, my mom is a basketball player, my whole family basketball players. So I already knew what the deal was basketball wise, but it was like, no, if you want the shoe, this is who you're getting the shoe after. And after that, it was just Jordan. There's pictures of my little sister. She has on a pair of K-Swiss. My mom has on a pair of Skechers. I have on the black toe 14s.
Oh yeah, you were fresh from the beginning. I love it.
Right. And the whole family is just like, this is a ridiculous picture. And I'm like, I mean, it's normal. So yeah, I've been a sneakerhead since I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, I love it, man. You were born, I'm a good 10 years older than you. And I remember, that era, and like Nike basketball was so hot at that time. Jordans were so hot at that time. But you mentioned that you come from a family of hoopers. So just talk to me, get a little bit more into like the influence of sports and basketball on your personal style and the sneakers that you like to rock.
Yeah, my mom was a basketball player. Like I said, she played all throughout high school. She started to play in college when the WNBA started to be a thing. She was looked at. She unfortunately didn't go because she has bad scoliosis and she had to get surgery very young. My mom had me when she was 16. So like I was at the high school basketball games and the early college basketball games. And then she had surgery. She had a kid. So, that kind of died down as far as professionally. But my mom was at the park tearing people up. Her and my dad used to lace up together and go. And so it was like a family thing. Like my mom had on whatever her hoop shoes were. My dad had on whatever his were. And because I was a baby or a little kid, it was like, and you got to think these are young adults / teenagers. Like she can't hoop, but she gonna sit on top of this. I had a black basketball. She gonna sit on top of this black basketball. The fits were always, my mom had me in boy clothes a lot. So like, baggy pants or baggy shorts, a baggy t-shirt, and Jordans with some barrettes or like a little bow or something. So
Yeah.
my style has always been about being comfortable and things being a little bit looser. And then as I got older and kind of fit into my femininity, it was like, okay, like I can wear baggy pants, but with a crop top, but still wear my Jordans and kind of find the middle ground. So the sports aspect was there. I want to say I took a girly route, but it's not the normal girly route. So a lot of people expect me to have played basketball myself. And
Yeah.
I kind of sort of play. I have an amazing 3-point shot. I'll get in
Oh,
any
word.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I know my lane. I know what corner to go to, and I know how to shoot in that corner, and I'm
So
perfect.
you got a Ray Allen kind of game, you know, the older Ray Allen game. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anything other than that, though,
Kyle Culver.
ask me to post up and do a play, I'm gonna be like, what does that mean? Like, where do we stand? And people don't expect that because I'm such a tomboy, but like I was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I did dance, I did ballet and stuff like that. Like I remember asking my mom to teach me basketball. I was like, I want to do what you did. I want to play. And we were in the front yard and she taught me a layup. And I did what I'm gonna call the most beautiful layup you've ever seen. And she was like, are we hooping or are you a ballerina? And I said, okay, you're not gonna yell at me. You're gonna take your basketball and I'm gonna go in the house. So I wore my Jordans to dance practice and stuff. So the basketball air that I give off, because I've had people in the airport ask, like, are you a hooper? And I'm like, no, it's all a facade. It's just that's just what I know, but I'm actually a dancer, girly, glitter on the inside. So
you know, that's interesting you bring up. I had TJ on here a couple of episodes ago. Shouts to TJ, talks with TJ, she's real cool. And we talked about just like women in sneakers, you know, and you mentioned a couple of things, right? Like for a long time it was, oh, you're a tomboy, you wear sneakers. Or if we did make a, you know, a women's silhouette, it was the most girly thing. You could, the pink Jordan with glitter on it and all that stuff, and all that, you know, that stuff is cool for whoever wants it. But do you feel like now that there's starting to become a good balance of women's silhouettes, women's colorways, and just attention to what women would want and women being in the room when it comes to designs for sneakers these days?
absolutely. I think you can definitely see the shift. And I mean, I've been a sneakerhead since sneakerhead culture started, is what I'm gonna say, because Jordan started sneakerhead culture, in my opinion. So I've been a sneakerhead from the beginning, and we had to do things like take a silhouette or take a colorway and make it for us. Like the Taxi 12 is one of the shoes that can be for anybody, because you have the tuxedo look with the men, but then women also can wear the white and black and it's a simple shoe. Or you have the Jordan 2 that a lot of people don't know, that the silhouette was made more so for the women's foot, which is why most men hate it, because it's narrow. But Tinker and them was kind of like, oh, you know, let's put a little mix on that. Same with the 3. And so I think now we're getting outside of like the, hey, we thought about women, so we gave you guys this one point, to where it's like a full thought out thing. Like aside from collabs, the Seafoam 1 that came out this year is a beautiful shoe for women. It's a perfect colorway. We wear that year round. It's a perfect accent color. They gave the burnt orange on the laces. Like it speaks to femininity in a way that you don't expect. It doesn't slap you in the face and be like, this is for girls, but it's also like, it's a little womanly. And then you go up to the collabs that have more thought out things, like the way that Aleli did that Fortune 14 this year.
Fire.
Is amazing. The jade, every girl or woman has had some type of jade jewelry or jade something that they've gotten from a woman from before them. So that speaks to the storyline of being a woman, plus the gold accents and it's just like, it's more thought out now. We still got some ways to go, because there's still some times where I'm like, now what are we doing? But I can definitely appreciate the difference between 10 years ago and now, 20 years ago now.
You know, and there's been women specific releases, but they come out in full size runs, right? The Mania 3s, the Mania 1s, you know, you mentioned the 14s, and guys buy them up, right? Resellers buy them up. Does that bother you when there's something made for the ladies and the dudes scoop them up, and you know, we do whatever we do with them, we resell them, whatever?
It It bothers me. And so people see me talk about this on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
and they come for my neck, but it's because they don't understand why it bothers me. Like I wear a size 7.5 in women's, a
Mm-hmm.
6 in boys, 5.5 in men, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, I know that there's not too many 30, 40-year-old men that wear a size
Right.
6 in men's. Like
Yeah.
I know that you're not buying my size to wear it. My issue
Mm-hmm.
comes in at 5.5 is a popular size in men's
Mm-hmm.
because men's 5.5 is rare.
Right.
6 is a popular size in grade school because that's what a lot of people wear. The 7/7.5 in women. So what happens is they're not necessarily buying it to fit themselves, but
Mm-hmm.
they're buying 6 and 7 pairs to say, oh, okay, yeah, if you want this, you got to give me an extra $100. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I'm like, you couldn't do this on a general release. You can do this
Right.
on something that wasn't women specific, or when it's a women's drop and we're talking about it like, oh, this was fired because of this and that. And they're like, well, I don't like it because it's women. Like, okay, well, I wasn't talking to you. It
Yeah.
wasn't made for you, so you don't have to like it. And that's
Right.
my issue. Like, not to say nobody cares, but nobody cares. If it's women's stuff, leave it to us.
Yeah. 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 I get, I'm conflicted, right? Because on one hand, capitalism is what it is, and resellers, and I don't want to be that guy. Oh, I hate resell. I hate being that dude, right? I bought sneakers resell. I've resold sneakers. Obviously, most people have. But I am very much into the art pieces of sneakers. And when something is made for someone, right? I feel like those people should get their hands on that, right? I feel like
Yeah.
women should get their hands on sneaks that were created for women because that's what the artist behind the sneaker intended, right? And so it does upset me when I see, like, I felt, when I got my Mania threes, I was a little, iffy about it. And I got them late because I wanted to make sure that the ladies I knew in my life that are into sneakers got their hands on it if they wanted to. I didn't want to be the dude walking around with these things in a big old size 12, right? And I just felt a certain way about it. I'm not sure, like you said, if it means anything in the long run, like if it's the most important stance I could take in life, is obviously not. But I just feel that way when it comes to the artistry behind sneakers. Like that sneaker's intended for someone other than me. It's not always about me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I have a lot of men in my mentions, and I have to point out that it's men because women understand what we're saying when we say it because we felt it. But I've had men that are like, okay, well, then can these grown women leave the kid sizes alone for my kid? And
Mm.
it's like, that's not the point. Or they're
Yeah.
like, this shoe was made for men, then why do women want it? And it's like,
Right.
again, that's not the point because I shouldn't have had to wait
Mm-hmm.
till 2020, 2021 to get some drops that are for women. Like
Yeah.
you guys have had these shoes for years. You guys have
Mm-hmm.
had these options. And to this day, I still get sized out of shoes that I want
Yeah.
because it's a men's shoe and they don't take it down to the men's 3.5 all the time. A lot of these men's drops stop at a men's size 7. And a lot of the time you can't even get the men's size 7 from anywhere other than Nike.
Yeah.
Whereas a women's drop, they'll say, okay, well, it's not a full size run, it's not extended sizes. That's fine. You wear a size 14 in men's. You shouldn't even want this shoe anyway. Like it's
Yeah.
not made for you. But
Right.
for the men that are adjacent to the women that wear like a size 9 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, it's like you're not thinking about the fact that we can't do that to y'all. We can
Mm-hmm.
There's no physical possible way for us to completely cut men out of these drops unless they put a
Right.
high heel on it. And
Right.
everybody knows we don't want high heel Jordans. I be saying it on Twitter, but like we don't want the high heel Nikes and Jordans.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
You want that Mariah Carey 2002 look with the
right.
jersey
That's
dress.
for it was
Right.
for Mariah and she did it and we're gonna
Yeah.
keep it there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand completely. And I agree with you. I don't know what we do about it. Just like I don't know what we do about like
Right.
crazy resale and things like that. But I feel you. So let's talk about you, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about where you are now. You're doing some extremely dope things. Let's talk about Soul Collector. Let's talk about the show on there. Tell the people about it, how you got that gig. Just jump into it.
Yeah, so Soul Collector has about 6 shows, I think, right now,
Mm-hmm.
but we're all on the Caffeine app. They decided to push out a bunch of sneaker content. Like sneakers need to be really, it needs to be on TV, but that's the conversation for later on. We're
Right,
working
right,
on it.
right.
trying
Right.
to get there. But Caffeine is historically what does the battle rap. And they wanted more content outside of battle rap. So they hit up Soul Collector, and Soul Collector asked for people. And initially, someone at Soul Collector put out a tweet and was just like, hey, we need a sneaker cleaner. Like, does anybody know one that lives in New York? And I'm in Dallas. So I didn't respond to it. I saw it, I liked it, and I kept it pushing, you know.
Right.
And a bunch of people were tagging me. They're like, no, y'all need to get with her. Y'all need to. And so he DMs me and he's like, hey, I heard you're a sneaker cleaner. And I'm like, yeah, I am, but I live in Dallas. Like, if you can mail me your shoes, I got you. Or if you I got you. Otherwise, you know, whatever. And he was like, oh, okay, well, we're actually trying to do a show and we are looking for somebody in New York to do the show. So, you know, sorry about that. And I'm like, it's cool. Like, when you need the South, I'll be here. I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
And so a month later, Soul Collector put out a tweet and was just like, hey, we need fresh faces. We've got some new stuff coming up. If that's you, go ahead and apply. And so I applied randomly early that morning. And like halfway through the application, I lost the motivation to finish the application. I was just like, bro, these are too many questions. Like, it's too much. There's too many people that are gonna apply. I'm not in New York. Like, you know, I'm telling myself all the reasons why, like, this ain't gonna get done. And so I locked my phone, and I think maybe an hour later, I opened it again and I was like, I'm not doing anything different than I was an hour ago. Let me just finish it. And so typed in, you know, whatever. There were questions like, what's your favorite shoe and why? And as we can see, I'm long-winded. So even typing, I was like, let me stop myself. But I put in the application and I didn't hear anything. And I retweeted it, of course, and was just like, because I'm big on like making sure that everybody eats, everybody gets a piece of the pie. So like, just because I saw that tweet, I need to make sure all my partners that's in sneakers, all of my friends that want to be, you know, anybody that deserves a chance needs to see this and they need to apply. And I think I texted to a few people like, hey, wake up, send in this, make sure you get this in as soon as possible or whatever. And 3 of my friends heard back and they were like, yo, we got this video, we got to do da 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 da. I didn't hear a thing. And I was like, okay, like that's cool, congratulations. But I'm at home low-key teared up, like, you know, should have kept that tweet to myself, you know, kind of just feeling a type of way. And so one of my friends, when she told me about it, she sent me a screenshot of the email. And I noticed that in the signature of the email, the person's name had also recently followed me on Instagram. But the way the page looked, I was like, bro, like, this is a scam page. Like, I'm not following this person back. And so I go back to double check and I was like, like, this might be a real thing. And so, you know, I gave them a follow and I kind of just left it alone. And maybe it was end of business day that day. It was like 4:30 my time. So it was like 5:30 out there. And I got an email that was just like, hey, by first thing in the morning, can you send us an audition video of this, this, and this? And I was like, oh, snap, I'm not going to have time to finish the video. You know, basically, I kept counting myself out a bunch of different times. Like, nah, you're not going to be able to do it because this. You're not going to be able to do it because that. Got the video in 24 hours after they asked and sent a bunch of apologies in my email because there were just so many things. The internet wasn't working, the phone, you know, whatever. And again, a couple of my friends heard back and I didn't hear anything. And then at the last minute, phone calls came in, contracts came in, discussions came in, and they were like, hey, we've got a couple of new shows. We want you for this or that. Which one do you like? And I was like, you know, I like both. Like, I don't know. I like both of them, whichever fits. And eventually I got out of like that shy bag and was like, this is my personality. This is who I am. This is what I want to do, whichever works for you guys. And again, it was still heavily towards sneaker customizing and the Beaters to Heaters show where they clean and stuff like that. And at the last minute, they called me and they were like, actually, we want you to do sneaker hunting. And I was just like, okay, like whatever. At this point, y'all paying me. It's a show. Sneakers, I'm gonna do it. Like, you know, y'all could have said go dig a hole and put some sneakers in it. I'd have did it.
Let's go.
Not for real, but you know. And yeah, so that's pretty much how that started. And it's so much fun because I do my cleaning and restorations, but like I don't want to say in real life because they're both real life, but I aspired to be a creative director and a stylist. And so that's what my main goal is in working towards. And I spent a lot of time in the mall. I spent a lot of time online shopping and all that stuff. So it's literally what I do anyway to get my own shoes, but I'm paying for it and I have a audience and it's more fun. Yeah.
It's a dope show. I got to catch a couple of episodes of it. And it's interesting because before sneaker content was just, oh, what's the hottest drop of the week? And that's cool. A lot of people do that. There's stuff on Soul Collector that's like that. There's stuff on
Right.
Complex that's like that. And that's great. I love all of it, right? But I like I like the idea of getting into like the nitty gritty of what it is to be a sneakerhead. Like we all go through that. Like we were literally going through that this week with the patent leathers and the,
Right.
stuff like that. Like, yo, I'm on a hunt to get this sneaker. How do I get it? Where do I get it? I'm really trying to get this sneak. So I think it's a really cool concept and you're really good at it. You mentioned earlier that you're long-winded. Don't say that. You're just a great host. You're a great host. And that's why I wanted to have you on because, personalities like that and people that are real, that really not, again, I'm not going to, people that are really sneakerheads and people that are really into the culture, right? And have been through it, lived through it, really want to, really wear the stuff that they get, so on and so on.
Yeah.
I feel like that's you, and that's why I think it's a dope opportunity for you, and I'm just happy for you, seriously.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely cool. I like that I get to interact with people and that I'm not just like shopping by myself because I haven't like in one of my episodes I bought shoes off eBay. I haven't bought shoes off eBay in like 5 years or so. So the way that shopping on eBay is completely different. But the audience is there to like, they're telling me what to negotiate, what to offer, and how to talk. So it's not just me. Like it's my sneakerhead knowledge, but I also get to lean on people within the community to be like, yo, like what y'all think? What size? Like we got this ongoing thing where I always open up Flight Club first. And they're like, oh, you got money. And I'm like, the last episode, I think I got to show them like Flight Club was the cheapest option over StockX, over Go, over eBay. Like y'all been sitting out on Flight Club because you think all this other stuff and my shoes were here in 3 days.
Yes, I listen, they ain't paying me, but I love Fight Club like that. I really do. I get my stuff very quickly from them. It's not a 2-3 week wait. I don't get the whole, the seller decided not to sell anymore.
None of that.
The prices are decent. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree 100%.
And so it's stuff like that like when I say it on Twitter though, I gotta fight through the trenches of my mentions of like explaining 6 times why to go to Flight Club, whereas now I could just be like, watch the show. Watch the show and I'm gonna prove to you why you need to go to Flight Club, and then stuff like that. So into the new year, we're gonna have more options for me to find sneakers for other people, because I don't want people to just watch me shop for myself. I feel like at some point that gets a little narcissistic, but we're gonna open it up to where somehow, some way, I'm gonna make sure like the audience gets blessed a time or two. Like I'm gonna have a ladies' night where I randomly pick a woman and find them the shoe that they want and stuff like that. So a lot of me, but a lot of also making sure that the community and the culture is still a moving thing versus it just being like, oh, I'm Jolissa, I'm great, let me get to the top and everybody prays. Like, nah, bro, we're collective.
Yep, the key word is community, and that's the dopest thing about sneaker culture, because that's how it is in real life. A lot of times you're calling your folks and like, yo, where'd you find these? Tell me, can you hit me to where to get these? And you're putting a good word for you. I love it. I love it. I love it. Before I let you go, and again, thank you for doing this. You're so cool. Let's talk about sneaker restoration and how you got into that, your love for that, because I think that's really cool. Honestly, a big part of, and I've had thrifters on the show before and people, and I love thrift culture and all of that. I actually just picked up like 6 pairs today from my uncle, and some of them are like brand new and some of them need a little work. So a restorator, somebody is who I'm going to be reaching out to. So just talk to me about that part of sneaker culture and how you got into that.
Yeah, I remember, was it 4th grade? I think it was 4th grade. My mom went to the Nike outlets and she brought back some certified bull. Like it was a mess. And that was back when like they used to do the sneaker without the backs on them, the slip-on.
Yeah.
Bro, like
yeah.
I had a pair of those from every brand. She was doing a lot. They were terrible. I don't even remember what they were. They were like some off. They might have been full court dunks or something. I don't know. It was bad
Yeah,
though.
just bad. Just bad. Yeah.
I hated him. I hated him. And she was like, you're going to wear, you know how moms are, you're
Yep.
gonna wear these shoes. I spent my money on it. And it's
Yep.
not like, this would piss me off. It's not like we were a struggling family. Like I
Yeah.
grew up okay,
Yeah.
which is why I had everything I want. I didn't want
Yeah.
those. I didn't ask to keep them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I wore them to school and I trashed those shoes to the ground. And when I got home, she was like, oh, that's cute. And make sure you clean them. And I want them to look exactly the way they looked when I brought them into this house yesterday. And, you know, raised in the 90s, I was getting whoopings. Like my mom didn't play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So certain things I would test the limits on. I knew not to play with her money though.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, and it was already too much of me to have trashed them like that. And so with a toothbrush and a cup of water and some bleach, I figured it out. And those shoes looked good enough for me not to get a whooping. And they pretty much looked dang near brand new. And that was just a lesson I took with me throughout life. Like my mama paid hard-earned money for all of my shoes that I had, you know, until she stopped, regardless if I like them or not, it needs to be kept up with. And then it made me keep up with them myself. And so I think it was 2019, I was hosting an event in Dallas and I had on my Royal Ones and somebody was like, yo, how much you pay for those? And I was like, retail. And they were like, what do you mean? Like, how long have you had those? And I was like, bro, like I got these when they dropped in 2017. What are you talking about? He was like, that looks like a brand new shoe on your foot. And I was like, oh no, I know how to clean my shoes. Like when I get home tonight, I'm gonna make sure they look the way that they do right now as well, and then go to bed. And so from 2019 and 2020, all my friends would be like, hey, Jolissa, I need you. Like my shoe looks like this. Can you tell me how to clean it? And I got tired of telling people how to clean hype releases. Like it's impossible to tell somebody that does not pay attention to detail how to clean an off-white 4. It's just impossible. You're going to mess up the shoe. And one of my friends called me and I sent her a text message list and the very last thing on the list said, do not use water. And then I called her and I was like, yo, matter of fact, ignore everything I text you, put the shoe down, I'm about to come over. Like came over and cleaned her shoe and she was like, you should really start this as a business because the first thing I was going to do was pick up some water. And I'm like, you know, that sounds good. Like we'll think about it and left it alone. 2020 ended terribly for me. I lost everything. I lost my living situation. My car blew up while I was in it. Like literally one thing after another. I was just like, dang God, like take me too. If you're gonna take everything else, it had gotten that bad to where I was just like, this is terrible. This is the first time I spent Christmas without my family and my kids. Like it was horrible. And so by the end of the year, I decided that I just was done. And I called my mom to be like, yo, like, I don't know what to tell you, but, and she was like, okay, just go to the airport. And that's what I did. I went to the airport and it's kind of like a blur, but I do remember spending majority of January at my mom's house in her bed, just like being there. I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have to pay bills. I didn't, you know, nothing because I'm at my mama's house. And so she was like, are you moving home? What are we doing? And I was like, I'll figure it out. And by the time the end of January, I was gonna say June. By the time the end of January came, I was like, yeah, no, I need to get back to Dallas. I need to get out of my mama's house and I need to get back to whatever. And I guess I hit the ground running in February. I came back. There was the snowstorm and stuff. So it was kind of and then in March, one of my good friends was traveling the world for a couple months. And he was like, hey, I need somebody to house sit and I really trust you. It was like in a central location. And I'm like, okay, sure. Like, I don't have anything else to do. And at this time, I'm still not working because I'm trying to figure out how to come back from just existing for however long. And another friend called me and asked me to restore their shoes. Now they're like, we know you can do it. Like, we've seen how you keep your shoes. I've seen you bring your shoes back from the dead. Like, just do mine for me real quick. I'll even pay you for it. And I was like, you know what? I ain't doing nothing. Like, let me see. And so I tweeted and I was just like, I'm just doing this for 30 days to see how this goes. If nothing comes of it, cool. If something does, cool. And I was like, I'm holding myself to tweeting every day for 30 days that I'll be offering sneaker cleaning and restoration. And That was in March. It's December 31st. So, I got meetings with lawyers, I got investors talking to me, so we took 30 days of like, let me just exist and make and at that time I think I was just doing $25 and $50. It was like enough to eat.
Yeah.
And if I want to go get a drink, I can do that. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't have to, I didn't want to do anything but exist.
Yeah.
That was it. And I can clean shoes in peace. So I turn on the music. I think one day I tweeted like, you guys have until I finish the entire Destiny's Child catalog to pull up and I'll take $10 off or something.
Yeah.
Like I was just doing random stuff. Like I'm bored. I need to make some money and I need to do stuff. And like I said, we've turned it into because it's just me still.
There you go.
I've turned it into this big thing. I ended December with C&K Daily. We did a fundraiser at Center here in Texas where we got over 100 pairs of shoes. We got coats. We got packs and packs of socks for a middle school that's in need out here in Dallas. And it's just like stuff that last year I couldn't have even thought of. Like last year I couldn't have even bought my kids shoes for Christmas. And I just made sure a whole middle school full of people are blessed. So
yo, I want to give you your flowers right now because it's such a dope story. And that's exactly why I wanted to have you on. I saw you tweeting about that. And though I was a fan of yours already, that story really just made me, it moved me and it made me want to have you on the show. I'm glad you told that story. I wish you all the luck in the world, continued success, keep doing your thing. The show is dope. If I lived in, I might have to ship you some shoes because I got some bread threes I need bought to life. So I might need to ship them to you.
We can discuss it.
All right. We'll figure it out. But either way, keep doing your thing. Thank you so much for joining the show. I hope you have a great 2022. And we will talk again. I'm having you back on the show. You come back on the show, right?
For sure. I'll be here. Me, you, all of us, we're going to have an amazing 2020. I got things lined up and even the things I don't have lined up. Like I had an attitude this morning just about nothing. And my best friend was talking and I'm like, he's like, what are you stressed about? And I said, normal stuff. I got to pay bills. I got to do this. I got to do that. And he was like, if I've learned nothing else this year, I've learned that somehow, some way, stuff gonna work out for you. It's gonna, it's gonna fall into place exactly the way you want it to, if not better. And I was like, you know what? You're right. In that case, let me just take a drink and we're gonna enjoy. So
there it is. Perfect way to end it. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Big shout outs to Jolissa for joining the show. Guys, I told you she has an incredible story and a bomb personality, man. Just happy to have her. Thank you so very much for tuning into the show, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are so amazing. Remember to follow me, MSR_Adam, MSR_Adam. Remember to follow the show, the What Are Those Pod, all right? At What Are Those Pod. Follow the show, follow the networks, Up on Game Network, follow the On My Feet Network, support the team. And until next week, I got another cool show for you guys. So keep it locked and always be great. Mind your mental health. I'm up out of here.